What is up, English 10 honors students? Mr. Puckett here, coming at you. Let's talk about introductions, because this week, if you haven't already noticed or heard, we are writing an essay. This essay, you've probably heard this from me or from Mrs. Appleby multiple times, but this essay is a test grade, is one of our final test grades of the semester. We'll talk more about the situation with finals, the fact that finals aren't happening later this week, but the fact that those aren't happening makes this essay even more important. So we're going to be doing this bit by bit as we go through the week and pairing it with some peer editing and things like that. I'm here to show you today, to walk you through how to write your introduction, how to get started. I am going to break it down for you, but obviously you're providing the ideas. I'm providing some of the instruction, you're providing the ideas. So let's talk about this. So first, we'll refer to my agenda here. Yours, if you're in Miss Appleby's class, will look a little bit different, but not all that much. You're going to notice the first thing up here, it says writing the introduction. We are writing our introduction. Now, a couple of things about writing an introduction in a literary analysis essay, or for generally an AP essay. In the past, you've been taught some methods for writing introductions, and where you have attention getters and necessary information and thesis statements and all that. When you get into AP essay writing, they really want you to ditch some of the flowery things and just get to your ideas so that you can go more in depth with them. So rather than having long introduction paragraphs, what the College Board is really looking for is a short paragraph, and by short I mean really 1 to 2 sentences. The only thing your introduction is your thesis statement. So let's talk about that. If you have not gotten the prompt already, it was on yesterday's link, but if you didn't, I went ahead and linked it here. You could also probably find it by going back to yesterday. If you did not get it, you can click this and it will open up the thing. It will let you go ahead and click this. It will make your own copy of the essay for you to write it. And it has the prompt right here, which we'll talk about in a second. If you made this copy yesterday, then just go ahead, take a second, pause this, and open up your version of it so that we can walk you through it. So let's look at it. Waiting for you to unpause. Wait, if you're hearing this. Okay, you already unpaused. Doy. Okay, so part 2 of our 1984 exam, we're going to be writing an abbreviated, shorter version of an AP essay. Your essay will include a thesis statement. The thesis statement is, again, your introduction. That's all it is. 1 body paragraph and a conclusion in the form of a destination line. Notice that's 3 paragraphs. Very rarely are you going to have sophomore, junior English level English teachers asking you to write an essay that's just 3 paragraphs. So what we need you to do is make sure those are dang good paragraphs. Put your best ideas into it. Again, the ideas are your part. Okay, let's look at the prompt. In 1984, the protagonist, Winston, attempts to stay human in the face of a dehumanizing totalitarian regime. Based on Winston's fate, what is Orwell ultimately arguing, advocating, criticizing, or warning against? Please explain how Winston's ultimate failures contribute to the meaning of the work as a whole. So let's break this down. Obviously, the first sentence is usually fluff. It's there to set the tone and let you know what you'll be talking about, the general idea you'll be talking about. Obviously, it'll be 1984. Let's look at the arrest. Based on Winston's fate, what is Orwell ultimately arguing, right? And this is the first part of the actual meat of the question, right? You are going to think about what George Orwell's message is here. The theme, right? You're picking a theme, a message that you think George Orwell wants you to get from this piece of literature. Then we need to also know what the focus is, right? Like, what are we using to analyze that theme? Please explain how Winston's ultimate failures contribute to the meaning of the work as a whole. So here's the focus: Winston's failures, right? The fact that Winston tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it really didn't matter. The fact that he failed, right? He didn't have this great storybook ending where he got 2 machine guns and kicked down the Ministry of Love and fought Big Brother with a machete and won. No, we were conditioned to sort of expect that ending from stories and movies, but in reality, he didn't even make a dent, right? Winston was just another cog in the machine, and despite all this rebellion, he didn't cause any kind of disruption at all. So how do those failures affect your theme? So you're going to pick a theme, something that George Orwell's trying to tell us, and you're going to talk about how Winston failing, what it tells us about that theme, how it affects it. It goes through some ideas and questions to keep in mind, all right? Like, how does George Orwell portray the government's use of psychological manipulation to control society in 1984? All right, again, these are brainstorming ideas. These are to get you started. To what extent does the role of information or disinformation impact the actions of people? George Orwell once said that if people cannot write well, they cannot think well. And if they cannot think well, others will do their thinking for them. And in this, I think this is sort of inviting you, if you wanted to talk, this is something you could pursue if you wanted to talk about newspeak, right? And the idea of eliminating words from language and whether that actually affects thought, cognitive thought. How does the governing body in 1984 exploit certain tendencies, weaknesses, and even strengths that human beings possess in order to, ironically, control and dehumanize humankind? What methods do they use? What qualities define being human? How does the party exploit human nature, human characteristics to maintain control over the citizens of Oceania? How is it possible to turn a rebel into a faithful supporter of the government? Again, like, how is it possible? What happened to Winston at the end happened. Is it possible? You are free to disagree. Explain how techniques of surveillance, oppression, and torture are related to human nature. And also, what is the power of fear? Okay, so I put here, this is the formula we created or we used for thesis writing last week, 2 weeks ago, actually. So let's go ahead and fill out what we can of it together, and then I'll leave you to create the rest of yours. Okay, so genre. In the dystopian novel 1984, author George Orwell. And then what word you pick here will really depend on what you're trying to say. They conveys, or he reveals, or maybe he warns, right? Let's put in fact, I like that. He warns against. And then now here is where you come in, right? Here is where you're going to put the theme that you are talking about. And don't just put totalitarianism. Give us some more, the dangers, the impossible dehumanization created by a totalitarian government. Wow, whoa, cool. That was through, and then what's our focus? And you're going to put this in your own words, but you're going to put some variation of the failures of protagonist Winston Smith. Now, obviously, this here theme is going to be the meat and potatoes of this sentence to make it long enough to take the place of a paragraph. So really dig in. This is where your idea comes in. So make sure it's a good one. When you finish with this will be your introduction. Let's look at here. The next thing you need to do is you're going to post your introduction to your group's discussion board. You may not have already noticed that you've been assigned a group. Let me show you. There are actually two different ways for you to find this. This activity we're doing is called Pass Synthesize. It is a form of peer review. Basically, you're going to be sharing your introduction with 2 other members of your class, maybe 3, and you'll be commenting on this and analyzing each other's tomorrow. So today, what you need to do is set this up by posting your actual information. So you can click this, and it will take you to the discussions tab of our class. And since I'm the teacher, I can see a whole bunch of them. You're going to see one that says Pass Synthesize. Where's that one for me? Interesting. It's not there. Oh, it's right here. Notice I'm filming this on the 30th. It's not available for you yet, but it will be when you're seeing this video. There's another way to see it, though. If you don't want to click that video and sort through all of this, you have a little group tab here now that you've been assigned a group. Probably you were assigned a group in another class before, but if you weren't, it's here. See it. Click on it. and you'll see your group, Pass Synthesize 28. I went ahead and added myself to a group alone with no one else. But when I click on it, it takes me to my groups page. Now, this is a place where you can actually create some of your own things. But what you're going to do here is just click on discussions, and it will take you to your discussion. This is where you're going to post. You're going to click on this, and you are going to click reply and just copy and paste your introduction in there. Tomorrow, we will do something with it as a group and talk about it and analyze each other's. But for today, you just need to post it so that people who are late to the party don't slow us down tomorrow. Okay, once you have done that, you are good for today. Again, we're going to be working on this bit by bit. You'll notice here, today is the introduction. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about our body paragraph. Thursday, we'll work on our destination line. And then Friday, this is actually going to change a little bit, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Because really, we're peer editing all week. Remember, this essay is due on Monday. It is a test grade, and it's a test grade that you can very easily ace. So please, make sure that you do it, follow along with us, and you'll do great. Have a great day, Flashes. I'll talk to you later.